Hello there, everyone. It's showtime. Or is it like whore time? I don't know. Welcome, everyone, to this great collab. The great collab.
The Great Ace collab.
The great Ace collab. I'm Hida Fire Tremor, usually your Spring Master and Magician of the show. I am here together with the great Ace Attorney, troop, group, whatever we're going to do with it. Yeah, troop. With me, I have Lux Ryan.
Hello.
We have Chrono Bell.
Hello.
Raphael Chrono
You
Bell.
can call me Raphael or Bell.
And we
It's
have
easier.
Kururu Forever.
Hello.
Hello?
Forever!
Yeah. We're missing a few. We're missing Cthulhu.
One crew member.
One group member. And we couldn't get Nate C to alleviate us from the roles, so we have to kind of like shuffle around a little bit with every character. But hey, Belle.
I was gonna do.
Belle, you were interested to do Iris, right?
Yes, but I don't have the confidence to do good as goods, but...
Iris would be so
And
cute.
Ryan played Van Zieks before in one episode. So we're pretty much there. We're going to do this.
I honestly don't
effortlessly.
remember,
This
but we'll
Abby
do
and
what we can
Charlotte
do.
won't be there.
I don't remember.
Well then, let us get into it. Let us start right into the game. Where is all the PNGs? Boop, there we go.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh, there we go. It's good. Let us start with the adventure of the unspeakable story. I don't know how unspeakable it is, but let's get into it.
We've been speaking through all of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, we got the box.
But not about the story.
Wait, what was this
And
box
we
name?
haven't spoken about the story at all.
We just got to the point where we were discussing everything about a little box, and let's see.
Okay, it was muted. Okay, it was muted.
Yeah, we
Muted.
were
Yes.
going
Great.
through Gina's testimony about how 3 months ago all from McGrundle's case that she was pretty much lying because she got like blackmailed or pressured into it, and how we are also kind of put into question if whether or not us as a lawyer is also anyway. That was pretty much what we got through for while we were waiting for this box, and it finally arrived. So let's see what secrets this one holds. Go ahead, Judge.
So this is the article in question, is it? The small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGondal 2 months ago.
And on the night of Mr. Winterbank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop.
Wait, let me put my glasses. Okay. Quick! Let's open it and see what's inside. Horrible.
What's inside? Stuff.
Music box.
It's a music box, yeah. Good gracious. This is no ordinary box, it seems.
Wow. Although, in truth, I had an inkling that might be the case.
It will appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement.
Then is it too much to expect?
I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is the device for the playback of the disc, my lord.
Wow! So here we have the means to play back Mr. McGondal's disc, deposited at Windy Banks at much the same time.
Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGondal's disc. It was the disc of his victims in the omnibus.
But why, for heaven's sake? We do understand that the brick maker was trying to sell this music box disc to Mr. McGondal.
I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord.
Did you practice your
Yes.
English accent?
I've been listening to a lot of Sherlock Holmes. I think I'm picking up on that on the British accent a little bit.
Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last. Wait, my lord! Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector? The music box and the disc are, well, they're unrelated to the case. Sus.
Uh-oh.
No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music.
This may very well be have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly, there's a chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened.
The prosecution has no objection.
But no, the piece blah blah blah.
Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here. But it is a policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored.
Just one moment. Usually Ryan is so quiet. Now I need to turn him down.
Am I? I think I'm also closer this time.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Amar.
He is a Mar indeed. There we go.
And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening.
Ah! No further delays, please. Play the disc.
Like Morse code?
I'm wondering the same, yeah. Oh,
Because it
what
doesn't
on
sound very
earth?
musical.
Yeah. Well, That's certainly not what I would call music.
No.
Yeah, it is Morse code.
Just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence.
Mr. Crowgray?
This really is priceless. After all that, the music box is broken.
Broken? It can't be, can it?
Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom.
Well, with much regret. I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues. Are you ready to move on, counsel?
Come on. Yes, alright. It does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music be music emanating from a music box possibly be a new clue? Might be a clue.
Yes.
I believe that it could be relevant, my lord.
Good lord, but how can it be? It's an abomination, counsel. Mere noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever.
It does sound strange, I agree. But there's one thing bothering me. Well, Krogray stands there for chortling victoriously. Or the inspector beside him is rather Italian expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognizes the sound, as he's familiar with it somehow. And it's making him appear extremely on edge.
Wait, sorry, but if that's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, answer me this.
Oh.
Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on this case?
In the defense belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not supposed to be music. Just because this music box, this is a music box, doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Look at that. The smile vanished from Kroger's lips as soon as I said it. I'm on the right lines here. Must be.
Oh, sorry. Give me a second.
Hi.
Make it the next one. Pass it down. People react to what you say. You're acting just like Holmes, you.
The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you've told us what they are not. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend.
Well,
Surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of your ill-informed argument. Exactly. This
Ryan
music
versus
box is
Ryan.
clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness.
they've got me. I don't know what the answer is yet.
Well, just accepted the music box very thoroughly. And I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all.
Really?
Really? The way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway.
Thank you, Iris. Alright, well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sounds it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Ah! Could it be? Is that what these sounds are?
Things that struck me, Ryu. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one this music box makes.
Yes, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing.
I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer.
Yeah.
If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all.
Yeah, I think they are like milking trying to milk the answer out of the player here.
Right?
Yeah.
And what the devil is it, counsel?
All the evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, it's all pointing to the single answer now.
The prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation.
Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. But if I'm right, it's going to join all the dots together. Evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds on the music lyrics is... What is the evidence, I wonder?
The music box disc.
Oh, what?
What's on the paper again?
There's a sensational story lowered on the front page as well. Look. Ministry mail. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice.
For a 10-year-old, Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of world news.
It's about secret communication between Great Britain and its allies. Apparently, they're being intercepted by hostile nations.
Communications are being intercepted. How would somebody be doing that?
Question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different possible methods so far. Are you looking for a new career?
No, of course not. I wonder. Perhaps this is what Lord Vortex was talking about yesterday.
Yes, it could be. And if we're just playing by SW running from pillar to post at the moment.
Well, let's present this, I
There's a
suppose.
mole.
This is playable.
Today's paper council. The headline is Pawnbroker perishes in pig purse plunder. Hardly supportive of your cause.
Oh, no, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page.
Further down. Ministry Mall. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes, this is a very serious matter. Being investigated at the highest level, I understand.
I have heard that international transmission along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries.
And presumably those transmissions are in the form of wire telegrams.
Of course.
Journal number 5, your input please.
What's that? Okay.
Me, sir? Whatever's the matter?
You told the court before that you worked at the same communication center as Mr. Crocray, did you not?
Yes, that's correct.
And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports.
Oh, yes. We're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important.
And tell me, is this very familiar sound?
Hmm?
You don't mean to say, is it?
That's right, madam. It bears more than a pressing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code.
But I don't believe it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it comes to leaking telegrams for government. Yeah. There could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer.
Oh, are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets in Morse code?
Order, please everyone, order. But this is high treason, council, deserving of capital punishment.
Too much new vocabulary. What is this treason? And what is capital punishment? The sorts of sort of words I'd half expect words I half expect you to know.
Wow.
Wow.
For a sovereign government, confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price.
Yes, and on that night 2 months ago was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus.
But in the end, Magondo perished, and the all-important disc lay on claim in the pawnbrokery.
My word.
In which case, whoever stole the information in the first place must surely have been besides himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country,
It would revere an act of high treason punishable by death.
so the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. In order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. Magondo would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Crow Guy?
Ugh. You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous, absolutely preposterous.
So, in response to the defense accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you?
Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away. Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. The prosecution demands the witness testifies. Responds to the accusations brought by the defense. Delighted, I'm sure.
A witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Windebank. That being a most flagitious offense, for which the law of this land sanctions a capital punishment. But the heinous act of high treason is no less serious a crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Crowgray. So then, let us proceed. Oh my gosh.
You gotta let us have a rabbit in the park here, Governor. We got things to say.
I beg your pardon? Who do you think you are?
Name is Nemi Timpiller. Occupation is professional baddie.
We done this fun. We just answered. We just answered correct. Name is still a Timpilar, but we ain't buddies enough to sell out of our move land.
That's right, we're what they call, the three Timpiller brothers.
The three?
Oh yes, Kurut wasn't there when they called him their brother.
I mean, yeah, I was like at the
You were?
beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing.
What did they want? In the hand.
Nothing.
A mere communications officers couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with Magondo anyway, was it not? I have no relation to the man.
Look, all we done is break into the gaff the other night like what we told us to do.
If we know there was Doja government secret involved, we wouldn't have touched it. And who told them? Okay,
Mr.
you just
Tinkerler.
confess it.
One mister will do, Governor. What's up?
Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? That on the night in question you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally? And moreover, you did so as a party of 3 in collaboration with Mr. Crowgray here?
We
We
did,
did.
Gov. We did.
We did.
Almost in sync.
Yeah. Quieten down, please. What say you to that, Mr. Crowgray?
I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to.
You little rotter getting us mixed up in all this monkey business. You never said nothing about no governor's secrets. It was supposed to be a straight up job.
And what about Geezer? Which shop it was, huh? Poor Block didn't have to die, didn't he?
Oh, selling me out.
Nice to know that who's your friend. Nice to know who your friends are.
Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations.
Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it into the court record as evidence.
Ooh, we have essential evidence in our in our court records now. Let's inspect it.
Woohoo!
First chance we get. Whee! Well, there's probably nothing here necessarily. This is the mechanism that turns the bombs on the disc into sound, isn't it?
Yes, the movement. It all thanks to the comb with its teeth that are plucked by the passing bumps. Usually, the teeth and the comb are different lengths, so that each one produces different tones. But this comb is very strange. All the teeth are exactly the same length.
Well, that does. What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means that no matter which tooth is plucked by the passing bumps, the music box will always make the same sound. I've never seen a music box like it before.
Yes, it's strange. Music that's a box that only can play a single note. Has to be some significance in that, surely. Well, we just established that, right?
Yep.
Hey, there's a button here. Oh.
What is it for you?
I've just noticed something about the music box. Looks like the button opens up as well.
You're right. Well, come on then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it.
Alright, here it goes.
Dad, there's another movement on the underside.
So, does that mean you can set another disc to play on its side?
Yes, I think so. It looks like the two movements are linked together.
They're linked?
So if you had two discs, they will both play back at the same time.
Ah, okay,
So we're missing a disc.
pretty much. Who would have thought that would be a second movement in on the other side of the box?
This movement is like the other one. These discs are all the same length.
So the movement also only produces one single note like the other one.
Yes, it must do. It's like that the length of the teeth and the two combs isn't the same. So the single tone produced by this movement will be different to the single tone we already heard.
What?
Basically, each movement can only produce a single note. But the notes...
But the notes they produce are different. Music box that can only play two notes? Well, that's huh. Let's come all of his testimony, I suppose. So, is the newspaper headline accurate, government communications are being intercepted.
How could I possibly know?
What do you mean by that?
Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of the staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with sensitive information. Oh.
I think it's the lady.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Stop! Must say something! Stop!
Let me guess. Journal number 5.
We regular communication stations officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. A team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraph used by the military. And Mr. Trogray here is the team leader.
That's fascinating.
Trogray is a highly skilled operator. Stop! Currently in presence of an idol. Stop!
So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Crogray?
Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors anyways, so they can't be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent in cipher. Normal employees couldn't possibly understand them. Oh no, stop! Must say something, stop! Mr. Trogray rarely attends meeting with ministry technicians and the ministry communications team. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. And he's received the top prize at cipher cracking conventions 5 years in a row now.
That's fascinating. Oh, Scotty, thank you for the sub. Thank you for your continued contribution to the circus. And welcome to the show as well.
Trogray is a highly skilled operator. Stop! Currently in presence of idols. Stop!
How are you doing, Scotty, by the way?
Well, your idol will appreciate it if you keep your mouth shut.
What a snitch.
She really should pick her idols more carefully.
Hi, Scotty. I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded. Aw, hope you feel better, Scotty.
Hope so as well. Down not?
To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent on listening to that music box even for a few seconds.
Of course.
Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code.
Ouch, he was generally so shocked at my ignorance.
I'll be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir.
A lesson in chord?
Morse code is a continuous series of 2 distinct tones.
Tones, you say?
Oh,
Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters.
I see.
For example, this A and this B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you?
But it sounds so similar. The rhythm is the same and everything.
But there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code.
No!
Really? You shouldn't be so surprised. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in the future.
Stop. Nothing to say, stop. Well,
It's frustrating, isn't it?
Iris,
I mean, if the government secrets are somehow being leaked using the music box, so many other things were locked in place so nicely.
could there still be something I haven't considered? Would it really be impossible to use the music box somehow to play back the Morse code? We don't have a second disc, so we can't give it a try, right?
I think it's the same disc on the other side.
No, it can't. You can't play it.
We need to play two discs at the same time, right?
Well, probably. If the other disc is, if the other side plays a different note, then you need to play them
Yeah, we
both
will
at the
do
same
this,
time.
But we can demonstrate that you can make another sound other than that we are already doing because there's the lower part.
Is the one inside the one with the blood?
No, the one inside is what? Yeah, that is the one with the rock.
I feel like we had a different disc.
There's still
Yeah, I
every
remember.
possibility that the music disc was instrumental in leaking government secrets. That's the belief in of the defense, at least.
Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that to be Morse code, 2 tones are required, dots and dashes.
Yes, and I'm well aware of that.
Then what?
Well, it would appear that the defense has a hypothesis to put forward. You have better present your idea at once, Council. How do you propose that this music box, which appears to produce only a single note, could have been used to cipher secret messages into Morse code?
We already have read this. Let's skip to this juicy part. Woo! Look at this! Other movement inside. Woo! Now we can present this.
Good gracious, what am I looking at here? Another movement on the underside of the music box?
What?
It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put 2 discs in the music box, and the two sounds will and the sounds of both will play back at the same time.
Good heavens.
As the course has heard, Morse code comprises of 2 notes, short dots and a long dash. With the second disc in place, this music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a message.
This is beyond a joke.
I'm sorry.
This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Though of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court with the second disc, that would be another matter. Well,
I can't at the moment.
and may I remind the court that as the witness has pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus with Megondo 2 months ago, striking a deal over discs.
Indeed, that was Mr. Mortar, the brickmaker.
Exactly! I had nothing whatsoever to do with it.
Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue.
The link between Grey and the victim of the Omnibus case must be there somewhere, but I haven't found it yet. Bell?
Bell's muted.
Yeah,
Oh.
sorry. Oh no, it's okay, it's okay. Oh dear, it looks like you need to give up your hack commands more strength soon.
You will reiterate your testimony if you please, Mr. Crowgray.
If I must, though I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with Megano anyway, was it not? I have no relation to the man.
Do we have evidence against that?
I think just read through it first.
Victim deceased, loss of a schedule. Mortar Milton. Brickmaker. Also Megano. Conviction was assured.
There was a fourth witness.
However, a surprise fourth witness testimony that resulted into acquisition. If this is it, then maybe. The great Ace, the Ace Attorney save state before presenting.
The great ace is coming.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
That never happened.
That never happened. No one saw anything. We can just press him. Let's
That's
just see
me. We
it.
can turn back time. It's okay.
Yeah, that's Bell's powers.
So 2 months ago, in that omnibus, Mangondo killed the brickmaker and stole the disc.
Mr. Mortar was a single man with almost nothing to his name. It seems he lived in an artisan quarter some years ago, but people there remember little about him.
That doesn't make for much sense, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information?
How indeed?
That must have been somebody else involved behind the secrets of in it all of this. Somebody who acquired the discs and gave it to Mr. Mortar in order to take it to the meeting with Magondo and negotiate a deal.
Dear me. You may have it in for me, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that.
An old brickmaker from the artisan quarter and a well-to-do communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the two of them together.
If you have nothing more to add on that note, let us return to the witness testimony.
Like Mr. Crowgray told you to do, you mean?
That's it, yeah. Who else, eh? Still me thought it was just popping it out for another after all them years. But the router had a dodgy job for us. Hey, Ash?
Let's stop you there, Mr. Timpiller. After all them years, you say? Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Crowgray is a acquaintance of yours?
We're the sociable kind of baddies, you know. Sure, let's say Crowgray's in old China.
Is there something wrong, Mr. Timpiller?
Eh?
No, the other Mr. Timpiller.
What? Who, me?
When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react.
Oh, I was just remembering the whole days, that's all. We used to have a right all that laugh together way back then. When?
Together with Mr. Crowgray, you mean?
Yeah, it does. I mean, Yoka, I'm not in. I can do this. I mean, you look at him now, in his fancy whistling flute, and you wouldn't have him doing it. But when he was younger, he was from the poor part of town, just like us.
Is that so?
It's me, yes.
Yes.
But he was always a little one. He had the brains. He had the savvy. Always coming up with smart ideas like what would never have gone to our heads.
Gore blimey, ain't that the truth? Remember Milverton and Tim Pillar's milk run? That was a corker, eh?
Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscing has no place in the courtroom. And neither does your fruit.
Oi, the geezer asked us a question, didn't he? And we was answering.
Yeah, we ain't doing nothing wrong.
Nevertheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony, please?
I don't know. Could have a sentimental story relevant somehow? My lord,
Yes, counsel?
the brothers' last sentimental statement could hold the vital information relating to this case.
Very well, counsel. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony with that detail. Briefly, I asked them to add.
Say no more. A Tim Pillar's
He was
never
salty.
cooking.
Oh. Milverton.
Milverton and Tim Pillar's milk run. Gore, them were the days.
I'm not sure I'm going to regret asking, but what exactly is that? What kind of business?
Just a little scheme we had going on back when we was youngster. A bit of fun, really.
Luring fresh milk to the locals. That's what it was all about.
That sounds alarmingly legitimate. Damn, that must be a catch. I suppose since we're here, I should ask him to elaborate, but on what business name? So the business was just a bit of fun, you say? Was it just yourselves and Mr. Crowbray involved?
Yeah, that's it.
Milverton and Tim Pillar's milk run, was it?
Yeah, that's it.
And where did the Milverton part come from?
Alright, I thought of a covered clog like you'd have worked.
Enough of this! How much longer are we expected to listen to this drivel?
Let me guess, you don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying. Tell me, why is that the only mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject?
Because well...
It weren't the happiest of homes that one came from.
Yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much, his wife walked out on him.
She took the name Trogri, didn't she?
But that will always be Milverton to us.
Milverton. So that used to be your surname, did it?
Of course not! This is all bunksome! I've been a Trogray since I was born! Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves? You're a communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personnel details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Trogray.
Well, it would appear that Mr. and Mr. Timpiller's testimony has been reliable for once. You were born Rupert Milverton, then. Is that correct?
Very well. Yes.
Rupert Crowgray was once Rupert Milverton. That information could change things, and I could turn out extremely important. All of a sudden, we seem to be up of our necks in a serious matter of national security. Although, all this talk about interception of secret government message is just a conjecture at this stage.
It's explaining a number of things, though, wouldn't it? The negotiation to the being overheard of the animals 2 months ago, and the break-in at Winniebank's. As the trouble is, it wasn't Mr. Choreography at the omnibus with Mr. McCandle.
No, it was Mr. Mortar, the brickmaker, who was horribly murdered.
Oh, if only there was some link between the two men somehow.
I know, Mr. Crowgray's testimony seems to be as watertight as ever. I wonder if the key to us making headway with the cross-examination here could be those two brothers. Can we somehow make this... Is there something with Milverton in it? Let's see. Mr. Winterbank. I don't think there's anything, right?
I don't remember hearing it.
What does it say in the article? Was there a name to that?
This article?
The one in the back.
Let's see. Mr. Sri Mall, 10 years. Not necessarily. And it's just about the pawnbroker murder.
Maybe in the case. Where, yeah.
Wait,
Mortar
Mortar
Milverton.
Milverton.
Oh my god.
He's
That's
the
his
father?
Oh.
Crazy.
Mr. Rupert Milverton. Tell me, why did you hide your former name from the court?
Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me.
No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had your reason to hide that name.
Ugh.
Explain yourself, please, counsel.
I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim, the man who we now understand have been negotiating with McGonagall.
Yes, Mr. Mortar, the brickmaker.
That's right, only Mortar wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mortar Milverton.
Milverton? Do you mean to say saints alive?
Mr. Rupert Milverton, is it not the case that the brickmaster Mr. Mortar Milverton was your father.
I don't. As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you join the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records.
The truth is that you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it to McGonagall in collaboration with your father.
Ah!
The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of the witness all comes together to reveal the truth.
The truth, you say?
That you collaborate with your father and Mr. Milverton in illegal dealings with Constable McGonagall.
By dint of this music box, you mean counsel?
Yes, stealing information being sent in secret government communications and selling it to McGonagall. Mr. Crowgray concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information, as presumably a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands.
The very effective one. I shouldn't have given us the scheme any credence whatsoever.
But the deal with McGonagall went sour, and the brickmaker met his end.
Yes, and before he was arrested, McGonagall managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at a pawnbroker. Then, having learned the situation, you appeared at Winterbanks 2 days ago, in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGonagall had placed in the pawn there.
But that attempt failed.
One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So, that same night, you established to have enlisted help of the Timber Pillar brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time, determined to recover the second disc.
Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box?
Eh?
We never knew nothing about that.
On the night of Winterbank was killed, the intruder of the pawnbroker touched one item, and one item alone, the music box.
As rather ingeniously demonstrated using the 2 prints from the security camera, indeed.
So the question that will naturally become Banks answering is this: why it was the only article, only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Since if it were to fall into the hands of the police, it would prove of high treason. Well, Mr. Crowgray, do you deny all of that actually began on the fateful night 2 months ago?
I refuse to accept any of this nonsense.
Did it not disguise?
Sir? There appears to be blood seeping through your sleeve
Yeah,
of your jacket.
this-
What?
2 nights ago, we know 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Winterbank's pawnbrokery. 1 took the life of the pawnbroker himself. 1 struck the pouch on Mr. Holmes's waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Crowgray, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it?
He's got you on. Got you now, me old China.
And call it quits and proc, I reckon.
Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those were my terms, remember? And I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly I was a fool to think that I could trust some common backslum thieves. Fine, I admit it. I was there in the Windbanks that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me. And as you've noticed, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets? Negotiating with Mr. Magundo? As God is my witness, I am sure I recall nothing of the sort.
He's not going to go down without a fight. Not until I show hard evidence, I suppose. Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact.
Which is?
Well, we know that one bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from Timper Brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Holmes's waist. And the bullet from Mr. Winterbank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Crowgray and the arm.
Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself.
Oh, hey there, Shadow.
Hello, hello.
Aye aye.
How you doing? Wow. You already entered the first sound routine, so it's silent for me. But hey. And that leads us to the only one conclusion. Mr. Winterbank was shot by a third gun, which can only have been fired from the third intruder. Thank you for the second quack routine that I heard.
Just for you.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
That's right, Mr. Crowgray. The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Winterbank that night is you. Was it? Rex? No, was him. Okay.
You little upstart. You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here.
What? What's that supposed to mean?
Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawnbrokers. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I built for myself at the communication station. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility?
What do you mean? What thought? What possibility?
The possibility that if I was there at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment. You see, this makes me a key witness in this case, and I had my hands firmly around the neck of your client.
What?
Are you suggesting...
What happened to his left arm? Well, he got shot there. We just established that he was shot in the arm at Windbanks.
I saw it all. I saw the very moment that pickpocket girl pointed the gun at the poor, defenseless pawnbroker and shot him.
What?
Order, order, order. Well, it would seem we are finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial.
It's theatrical indeed.
Mr. Crowgray, Yes. I trust you are fully aware about the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have to incriminate yourself as the killer. Oh, I understand fully.
Then I must ask you to give your former testimony once more.
Well, that sucks. You can barely move your arm if you're shot, especially where the injury is. It was been 2 days ago. It's been stitched up. Yeah, I know he's kind of animated, indeed.
You will explain to the court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim.
Nothing would give me greater pleasure.
We're finally calling it allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When Windenbank threw Nemi over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the peephole in the door though. The accused, in a black coat, shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood splatter all over that wretched girl. Then she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape.
Blood? Wait. Oh. Good gracious, this is quite an extraordinary testimony.
That's...
You claim, sir, under oath, to have clearly seen the defendant pulling the trigger. Order, order, order.
It wasn't my intention to testify in this way. But neither is it my intention to be found guilty of a murder I did not commit. So you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation.
The truth.
Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details.
Yes, well, sorry about that.
Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. And as I said, she was showered in his blood. You say the blood splattered over the accused's coat. Are you sure on that point?
Man, all these lies piling up. We
Oh,
literally...
yes.
Sorry for interrupting, but we literally had a
picture.
photo of her, right? No, we don't.
Yeah. What? Shouldn't we have
We
a
only have this
photo?
one.
Oh, yeah. Wait, but we saw it in the cutscene.
Yeah, we saw it in the cutscene.
You just saw it. Oh yes, quite sure. All over the black overcoat that pickpocket girl was wearing at the time.
Really? If her coat could somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would be conclusive evidence here.
Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord.
What?
Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood.
What?
So here's to true science, not some amateurish detective's dubious foray into the world of chemistry.
Okay, Belle.
Sorry.
That's okay.
There's nothing dubious about Almy's work. His ideas are all sound.
Ideas are no use to us here. In science, as in law, theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as the basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has a small quantity of the chemical reagent used, with your lordship's permission.
Oh, hello, Ashen One. It's been a while. How are you doing?
Hello.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh,
throwing
Marcos!
We could
Marcos, oh my god, you came! You didn't
We-
have to if you were not, it's one of my viewers.
We
Thank you
could
for
shatter
coming.
all vestiges of doubt within minutes.
Hmm.
Iris, sorry.
Oh, we're doing good.
This doesn't look good for you.
Why not?
We know, don't we? There's blood all over the front of Gina being scarred.
Hmm.
You detested with their chemicals.
Oh, help. You're right. I was forgetting that happened yesterday.
NANI?
Nonny, indeed. And hydrate, guys.
Hydrate.
Great, yes. I finished my water.
No,
Oh no.
no more water.
It's
Gotta get the
empty.
water.
Can I go get the water?
Oh well, it's your lines.
Oh, yes.
Whack.
Don't move, Gina Bean. I'm going to shoot.
Oh yeah, the big blood splatter. Yeah.
But that's not Mr. Winterbank's blot. The stain is from 2 months ago. That was Mr. Mortis' blot from when he was stabbed by by McGondle, who was wearing the coat at the time.
Damn.
All these quack redeems. I'll be AFK most of the time when I have some company. Oh, okay. My lord, the defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution.
Overruled. Lord Van Zeeks, make it so at once.
With pleasure, my lord.
And while we wait the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination.
Once they find out that blood on the overcoat, Gino will be...
Counsel,
Yes, my lord.
your cross-examination.
Of course, my lord. Of course, an examination that doesn't go well. If I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence or really compelling clue now, I have a very bad feeling about the outcome of this trial. Make it fun in the courtroom with quacks. Apparently so. Mr. Windbanks emerged from the storeroom, I believe.
Tully and Nemi were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close.
I've never been so scared in all my life.
It's me. I almost forgot. Yeah, we just be regular Milman Red Buglers, that's all. We don't like violence.
So that's the power who carries carry a gun. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance of the shop?
I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items.
Looking for the music box, of course.
The broker went for Nemi in the first place. Then Tully joined in, making it 2 against 1, so I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong.
was trying to help my little bro, but the whole geezer took at me over the blooming counter.
So I pulled me gun on the old fella, and that soon made him sharper.
A pair of you setting upon the poor, defenseless upon broken together, shame on you.
Sorry, Gov.
I shouldn't be sitting in the dark, but I like it that way. Oh. You mean the moment you were shot?
Yes, though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the three men were brawling. It was exactly that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot.
And a bullet went to strike the calendar on the wall behind you.
So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what had happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later.
Yeah, well, if you don't stitch it up, no, yeah, well, yeah.
Shokoro was shot with a revolver with the power of a rifle with 1 bullet.
Uh-huh. And I'm not stitching it up
Crazy.
thinking, yeah, it's definitely not, they're definitely still going to bleed. Especially with the...
Just a flesh wound.
Especially with the
Just
amount
but
of
a flesh
move,
wound.
especially with the amount of freaking dance moves he's pulling off every
Yeah.
now and again.
Did Mr. Winterbank intend to shoot you, do you think? Well now, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyways, it didn't quite strike home.
When I pulled me gun on him, he tried to shove me out of the way.
Well,
I'm sorry, I said the sentence, but I was muted.
oh,
I am stupid.
it's okay.
Anyway. Then he scampered through the thoroughbred.
At which point, what did you do?
When did it get the pear and apple? Well, oh, we don't know. They just pulled it out.
They have
They-
multiple
they,
pairs
they,
and
they just
multiple
pulled it out.
apples.
You mean you chased after him?
I like the wine.
I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop.
And what about the peephole in the door you mentioned?
Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom's door is a solid job. Made out of stout wood.
Whack again.
But there is a small opening in it about the head height that lets you see what's what in there from the outside.
Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through with myself that night. If only we had a photo of that.
Yep.
And what about you burgling brothers? Did you see what went on through this peephole as well?
This is not likely, Gov.
You didn't see nothing of the sort, Gov.
I doubt these 2 buffoons were even aware of the peephole's existence.
So the Templar brothers were there but didn't see the killing Mr. Winterbank take place.
Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there.
The defendant?
Yes, though neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed it straight at the man.
And then, what did you see next?
Yes, when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in the hand. But that was Mr. Winterbank's gun, from which only a single bullet has been fired. And as we already established, Mr. Grosgrave, that bullet was fired at you.
But no. It wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Winnebank's gun grazed my arm. And yes, the 10 Pillars gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely. A third gun. The broker's gun was not the murder weapon. So clearly they had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time.
But no other gun was found at the scene.
Calm yourself, Counsel.
Sorry.
You must consider the events in order.
Huh?
At first I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other. But then, all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. And it was at that moment that the little gutter rat shot him in the back.
A chilling image, I must say.
All over her?
Yes, through the peephole, I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now, what with the coat being such a dark color. But I assure you, that garment is sullied with the victim's blood.
Well, it's sullied with blood, that's for sure. Oh?
It's not Mr. Winnebank's blood, is it?
No, that's right. It's Mr. Milverton's blood from when the gun was stamped in 2 months ago.
Lying. If the audience did chemical analysis, we could prove that.
But they won't, unfortunately. We can't use it as evidence to support our case.
Mother.
Did I hear that correctly? Correctly, she threw the gun out of the room.
That's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over.
Over where exactly?
In the direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then the girl dropped the gun through the peephole onto the floor on my side of the door.
But why on earth would she do such a thing?
I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there, in case any more tragedies took place. So it was you, in fact, who took the dirt gun from the scene of the crime? Yes! It was yours truly! I left the clear up to my lackeys and left.
Clear up?
We made a bit of mess around the counter, so Mr. Wisdom flew here told us to tidy up.
Gangsters are blooming mom sometimes.
Well, I was paying you enough, by God.
Tell me, Mr. Crowgray, when you left the pawnbroker that night, was it by chance that the second disc in your was it by any chance that the second with the second disc in your pocket? Ugh.
You're like a bull at a gate, aren't you?
And what? What is happening here?
Oh.
Gentlemen!
What?
Something wrong, Sunshine?
That should be my line. You do realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Timpill.
Well, I mean, these dudes a bit of Logan, ain't he?
What's going on just now?
You saw him. He grabbed me and whistled. Why the blazes? He said, didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down to the station?
And why didn't you?
Cause we didn't know nothing about it. Or that flaming peephole in the door.
Sorry about that. I can be prone to losing my rag sometimes. Not hurt, are you?
Or blame me. See the way he's looking at me? I'm telling you, this just gives me the willies.
That was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite worked up as that. He wouldn't normally grab someone. Belle?
Oh. Yes.
You're quite distracted,
No.
aren't you? Sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's okay.
I kinda burned myself a bit, but
Ah.
okay.
You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's over, but I'm still
I get it.
going on my hand.
Hmm.
It's okay, it's nothing major. It's still just a bit itchy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. No, that was not Gabby at all. It's number of sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him. Yeah, because that's you,
Yes,
Iris.
well, I think you might be a special case, Iris.
Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character.
My lord.
My
Oh yeah, well. Requesting your lordship's permission to intercept the cross-examination.
Explain yourself, officer.
I have the results of the task that was ordered earlier, my lord.
Ah, the blood on the accused's overcoat.
Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel.
No, my lord.
Well, there you have it.
The report, please, Inspector.
Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of spattering following a gunshot wound. End of report.
How did they explicitly know it was a gunshot wound and not a stabbing wound or anything other wound?
Goodness me.
See? What did I tell you?
No, the blood on the overcoat is not Mr. Winterbank's.
What on earth makes you say that, counsel?
The coat originally belonged to Constable McGondle. And therefore his coat was disposed at Mr. Winterbank's, Winterbank's. McGondle had fatally stabbed Mr. Mortar Milterman. So the blood on the overcoat is the blood of the brickmaster from the omnibus case.
Well, the dead cannot speak. Isn't that right, Mighty Pony's friend?
Sorry?
2 months ago, in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for McGondle's innocence? And yet now the man's dead, you brand him as a murderer? Your conduct shatters any shred of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country.
Yeah, but that was...
I call it bally disgrace. Treachery, that's what it is.
Isabel.
Oh, it was me? Yes, I think it was me.
It was.
How to determine whether the blood on the card is 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope couldn't help me answer to that problem pop out. It can't be done.
But we used Mr. Holmes'
Mr. Holmes is a detective, not a chemist.
Would you put your such faith in the chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer?
I helped out Prisoski by starving the starving boy, and he ran away crying.
Sherlock Holmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom. No weight at all.
How could you say that?
Victory is sweet indeed. This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from start to finish.
How do you arrive at such a conclusion, sir?
As the witness said, the accused's coat was splattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Crowgrave could have possibly known that fact is if he saw it happen. In other words, his testimony is solid, and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth.
Yeah.
Been a long battle, this one, but this old war horse has something to say now, if you please.
Here we go again.
Mr. Foreman.
As of this moment, sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men? All for one now.
Sir.
Guilty.
Yeah, you don't have to say this. It's all voiced anyway. There we go again. Up to closing arguments.
The head magic was funny.
Huh?
The head.
Oh yeah.
Well, it would appear the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached an anonymous verdict.
The defense have consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Here's to any attempt you may make at unpicking the jurors' decisions being equally successful.
Yeah. I don't believe it. After I've come so far, how is it all unraveling on me so fast?
Sad look.
How very distressing to be held in such low esteem. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruto?
Officer? You've delivered the report now. That would be all, thank you.
It occurs to me that with some regularity, Mr. Naruhodo, that scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. I know that voice. Am I going mad? Good.
Sherlock? Nice mustache.
Mr. Holmes?
What is the meaning of this? Order, order, order.
What business do you have here, detective? The last I heard you were recuperating in the hospital.
As well I should be, had I not been set upon an errand.
What errand?
Holmesy, it's really you. You're awake at last.
Yes, good day, Iris. It appears to be rather late to rise, my apologies. Now, my lord, if you would humor me.
In what manner, sir?
I have something of great importance I wish to give the young lawyer there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind to spare us the time?
What say you to this, Lord Van Zix?
This trial has taken many hours of the court's time. Having spent so long already,
Exactly. Having spent so long already, we don't want to go wasting any more precious time.
as I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yep. Eh! Very well then, counsel. You have 5 minutes.
Let me talk to myself for the next 5 minutes. My dear fellow, I apologize for my tready arrival. Mr. Holmes, are you alright now? Alright? I'm all wrong. Sorry? I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man. I asked you to judge for 5 minutes. But I fear even that may prove too much for me. Pray forgive me if I should pass out. Let's make this discussion as short as possible.
Ozzy, this place is full of idiots. None of them can see how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is.
Well, that concussion of mine was really just a bit of a sport to assist me in my investigations. Never took the trouble to refine it for appraisal by the scientific community. An overnight oversight on my part. Right. Modesty. Surely not. But enough that. I give you here. I'm here to give you this, my dear fellow. What's that? A lavender Furosiki wrapping? I'm leaving a leaving present from Miss Susato. From Miss Susato? If possible, matters were to be settled without me giving this to you. Those were instructions when she asked me to do this favor. I don't understand. Miss Susato foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means both devious and underhand. And that you, Miss Naruto, fighting fairly as you are won't do, would find yourself in considerable peril. At that very moment of crisis, you will be given this small parcel. Those were the dear lady's instructions. A leaving present for Susato. Whatever it could be. What is this?
It's the machine I made.
Ah! The machine that makes latches.
Oh. Look, I used this. It's my latest invention.
What? What was that?
I call it the cat flap good. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like what in seconds. says you have to.
Miss Susato muttered the following words before she left. I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant. What? Didn't she say something like that? You really are the best judicial assistant in the world.
Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure.
Whatever she mean by that, Mr. Holmes. That night when you left with Windowbanks in pursuit of the thieves, Miss Susato made use of the contraption for a certain purpose. That is your answer, my dear fellow. Not all that cryptic then. Susato used this cat flapper map that night, but why? And if you have a clue?
Your 5 minutes is over.
Yeah, we're out of time already? I'm grateful to you for affording us this brief recess, Mr. Reaper.
I need no thanks, detective. After all, the die is cast.
Is it really?
The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile.
I wonder. Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. The rest is down to you, my dear fellow. What's your plan? The rest is down to me. I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, trouble will end badly. My lord, the defense requests. So, okay, let's consider the facts. We just got new evidence from Susato, right? With the clue from Holmes that Susato had to use this when we were out catching the Templar's. What did she use it for?
To put the
Or
people.
the door? What?
To put a peephole.
Didn't the guy mention that there was like a
Well, there's
flap in the door?
They
Yeah.
didn't know there was a peephole, right? So that means maybe the people did not.
Well, we have a
Exists
photo.
and-
We have a photo of 1 a.m. here.
Ah, oh my god.
So,
Oh.
just saying, this is after the crime, right?
Yeah.
This is before the crime.
Yeah, there's no hole.
So, how could Mr.
Yeah, what's his name?
Benedict, or how many aliases does he has?
Yeah, Kroger?
Mr. Kroger know that. How
There
could
was
he
a
witness the crime if there's no people?
Yep.
So,
I'll be right back. I'm gonna take some water because I'm really thirsty.
Oh, yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
I'll be right back.
So further cross-examination to point out would be the best option? Maybe? With a summation examination, yes, we need to persuade the jury
We don't
again,
need,
but...
we don't need their opinion right now.
Hmm?
Yeah, we don't need the jury's opinion right now.
Yeah, as soon as we point out that
It will convince them.
Yeah, that
yeah.
hole in that testimony, it will convince them that he shouldn't have been able to see it. So that the blood on the coat might have been from 2 months ago. Further cross-examination.
Oh, sorry. The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine the new witness now.
The defense is not asking for the cross-examining of a new witness, rather to continue with the one of an existing witness.
What?
It would appear that rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper. Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination.
Thank you, officer. Very well, the cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel.
No, my lord. Bella's just in time back.
Yes.
Welcome back, Shadow.
Welcome, welcome. So, nobody can say anything then? If Ryu asks to resume his cross-examination on Mr.
Crowgray.
Great.
The court is obliged to allow it.
This is absurd.
This is Sparta. I would remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its right to request a continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will not permit an unremitting protraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding the cross-examination.
Thank you. Okay, I'll try to pronounce your name because... Okay. Uproricla called Gems? Anyone?
Thank you for the follow, euphorical jams.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the circus. Hope you'll enjoy the show. Sorry for butchering your name. I always have troubles with
Every
names.
time I yell like, welcome, saying the name.
But thank you for the follow.
That's what a mod job does.
Counsel, you must choose but one statement from the witness testimony. And but one piece of evidence to present in support of your argument against it.
A single chance to present evidence.
If following that the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to adjudication. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witness any further.
My lord.
Yes, my lord. Uporicial gems. Uporicial gems. Oh, okay. I'm
Euphorical.
guessing it's how...
Euphorical.
Euphorical gems.
Yep.
Okay. Euphorical gems. Thank you for helping me pronounce that, Shadow. A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo. It's high time I fell in at that fate. I leave this in your capable hands.
He's gonna die. There he goes.
Mr. Holmes!
Oh, he's dead. He was
Well,
so young.
He just lost a lot of blood probably, or just fainted from...
To stand so insouciantly before the court in a state of such high fever.
Oh, high fever, okay.
Either the man has extraordinary strength of mind or an extraordinary lack of feeling. Maybe both.
I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers.
Strike a man when he's down, why don't you?
Well then, Council, are you fully prepared?
Yes. One statement, one piece of evidence. I won't let Mr. Holmes down, or Iris. And I won't waste the final chance that Suzanne will give me. This is going to decide the entire outcome of the trial.
Very well then. Under the terms I have outlined, you may resume the cross-examination.
Oh, goody.
Yay.
It is going to be quite something. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can find out this point. We can't press anything because we only have one chance, so we can just... Sharp pain. I presume the man that I pursued the man that shot himself in the street.
Did you say?
this one.
Yeah, that statement.
That statement with the door flapper maker.
Yeah.
How about that statement with this photo? Because there's no peephole.
Yeah, that could work too, actually, yeah.
And then if they, yeah, let's see.
They ask how, like, we can show the...
Ah, nope. That's not it. Okay.
Then it's the camera, or the maker.
So unfortunate that the music resets as well. Ah, there's the maker.
What on earth is that eccentric contraction, Council?
It's my cat footmat, my lord. It makes a way for cats to get in and out of a room. It's been touched to any door you can think of and make a new little door in the middle of it.
That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps. Small doors for cats to come and go as they please without their owners.
I'm sure we can all work that out for ourselves.
Sure, bro.
But that cat lover's contrivance has no possible relevance to the case.
Oh, really?
Of course it doesn't. To start with, there was no cat flap in the pawnbroker's door.
Not being a keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I failed to see what this has to do with the matter at hand.
Perhaps I would help you if I describe the function of another way then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in any door you can imagine in practically no time at all.
I beg your pardon? A peephole, you say?
2 nights ago, we arrived on the scene only minutes after the murder of Mr. Winterbank had taken place.
That's right. According to the paperwork at the yard, it was you, your Japanese assistant, and Holmes.
Yes, the 3 of us were together, and it's recently come to my attention that my assistant made use of this device at the time.
Your assistant did what?
There was a peephole on the storeroom door. I can attest to that. Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom.
This is ludicrous. What are you trying to say? Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said as much in my testimony. How else could I have witnessed the crime? For pity's sake.
Yes, how could you?
What?
Hello there, J. Peppermint. Welcome to the show. Hope you'll enjoy our case of the Great Ace Attorney, our voicing through it.
Council, kindly say what you mean.
Alright, it's time. Time to strike down the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the people in the storeroom that third door. And until such time she did, the door had no hole in it to look through.
What? No! This is a farce. Are you really suggesting that the peephole in the door was...
Yes, it was created only after the incident had taken place by my judicial assistants using this device.
Your assistant tampered with the crime scene, was being fully aware of the gravity of her actions? That is the most serious act of vandalism.
For which I humbly apologize, my lord. It was in a few minutes that I left the scene in order to pursue the Timber Pillar brothers and alert police. Nevertheless, in light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Miss Crowgray's testimony is riddled with holes.
Riddled with... Explain yourself, Council.
The majority of Mr. Crowgray's testimony that appears to incriminate the defendant is based upon that he witnessed through the peephole in the storeroom door.
Yes, that filthy girl shooting the man in the back.
However, if at the time of the incident, the peephole did not exist yet, not yet exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you claim to have seen. In short, your entire testimony is a pack of lies. Yeah, I really love the series as well.
Order. Is there any credence in this revelation?
None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize. Exactly! This is just some cheap trick designed to discredit me.
I'm afraid not, sir.
Of course it is! Do you seriously expect people to believe that plaything can cut through a solid wooden door?
Well?
Yes. Oh yes, I decided it to be very powerful. It can cut through even the toughest door.
That's absurd! I don't believe it for a second.
I have a feeling you say that.
What?
Wacky cooking time for dinner.
She made a freaking flap in the courtroom!
That's vandalism. Put her in jail.
Well,
Young lady, this is the Old Bailey. One does not make cap flaps in the oak panelling of the Old Bailey.
No, indeed.
I'm not done yet, don't worry. This doesn't mean that the peephole in the storeroom door was at Minabag was made by your machine. And there's no way you can prove that it was.
no, but it's easy.
What?
The cat flaps, my cat flap mount, grease are all fixed sides. The dimension of the peephole and windfans are an exact match.
Ugh.
I'll say clean as from guards.
Excellent work, Iris. Thank you.
And now it's my learned student's friend's turn to be lost for words, I feel. I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home.
I would hold Iris and keep her safe. I know, right? Everyone would do. Well, yes, that's true.
Then you have made some difficulty in establishing all of the facts. For the sake of argument, let us assume the peephole has dimensions that are a perfect fit for the contraption. In that case, when was the peephole cut? The prosecution demands proof of your answer.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Van Zeeks?
It's very simple, my lord. The defense argues that the peephole was created after the incident using this device. But now that the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to the fact. There's no proof.
Yeah.
And for as long as the defense remains unable to prove when the peephole was made, my learned friend's claims amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation.
Yeah, what?
But we can prove that the peephole wasn't there.
Yeah, we can. Naruto doesn't realize it himself yet.
Yeah, indeed. That is so, Lord Van Zeeks. Well, counsel.
I,
Sorry. Thank you back, Malgrim. It is the time to create your hand happening and force your way through.
I don't know what I can do with, I don't know if I can do this, but I do know one thing. Susato is the greatest judicial assistant in the world.
Oh.
Very well, the counsel for the defense will present evidence to support the claim made. Proof that the peephole in the door in the bank storeroom was created after the event and not before.
After the event? Oh, then we need to post shooting, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Or,
Well, we need the
No,
pre
no,
one so
actually,
we can
we
show that
need
the
the pre-
peephole was not there.
yeah, indeed.
What are you? A print from that detective Infernal Cameras again?
My judicial assistant, Miss Susato Mikotoba, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause of true doubt. That she would have considered this scenario and made sure I did had the necessary proof.
And the necessary proof is this photographic print, counsel.
Oh, thank you, Cookie, for the raid. Welcome,
Ooh,
Raiders. Welcome to the
welcome,
show.
Raiders.
Oh my gosh.
We're in the thick of, like, pretty much revealing the culprit's guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the raids. You were placing Wizard 101. Oh. How did your stream go, Cookie? As we are just going to continue. So cross-examination, pretty much. Good to hear. This print shows the scene of the in the shop moments after the defendant entered the premises.
And it also shows the accused mercilessly wielded a gun in the direction of the defenseless broker.
But more to the point, it pictures the storeroom door in the background.
Let me see the print again. I don't believe it. This really is quite remarkable. The door to the storeroom is completely devoid of a peephole of any description.
Mr. Crowgray, you couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claim to have done, because at the time it happened, there was no peephole in the door.
Ugh.
In other words, your testimony is a catalog of lies.
Dead.
Alrighty.
Order. I am satisfied that the defense has substantiated its claim beyond all reasonable doubt. The witness's testimony was entirely fallacious.
That's not the only thing we know now beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistance guild can no longer be denied. The woman tampered with the crime scene. But more importantly,
Good lord, there's more Lord 16?
the defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury. But that is no proof that this man is the victim's killer. Yes, that's right.
What?
I was there at the scene. It's true. And I was the one shot in the arm. It's true. But that's all. Yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I am the victim here.
Oh, please. No,
Oh my god, I'm just going in
I don't
circles.
believe this. But they're right. As it stands now, I don't have any divisive proof that he's the culprit. Hey, Val?
Yes. Still, he can't worm his way out of it now.
Iris?
You know what to say. There's no point locking the cat's door after the cat has bolted. Isn't that right for you?
What?
As always. Always says, Almsy. One light beats another.
One lane begets another.
But that's another. I'm so sorry, my English sucks. Even if I am
No,
English.
it's
Really
okay.
hard word.
It's another. English is hard sometimes.
Yeah. No, wait. That may have been a line I brought for him in one of my stories.
Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Crowgray, not only did you give false testimony in court, the lies you told makes no sense.
Makes no sense. What do you mean by such a remark?
What you said in your testimony reveals that you know something that you shouldn't have known. In other words, there's a fundamental inconsistency in your statements.
What? This is provocative talk, Consul. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency.
Iris was right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witness's statement. They show that Mr. Crowgray had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known about. Namely,
Bloodstains on the coat.
the bloodstains in the coat indeed. The bloodstains that were present on Miss Lestrade's coat.
That's right. The victim's blood splattered all over her when she shot him.
But how could you have possibly known that?
Obviously, because I saw her do it through the peephole in the...
The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Crowgray. It's the nature of the lie you've concocted that is so revealing.
You're not making any sense.
Let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Crowgray, that you knew of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door?
What? Well, obviously I...
Has the cat got your tongue, witness?
The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred. At once I returned to the shop, having failed to catch the two burglars. Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Winterbanks consistently, carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Mr. Inspector Gregson?
Well, yes, of course. The place is chock full of bond articles, so my lads have to thoroughly examine them all. So I gave the order to have officers working around the clock in shifts, so we got through it all.
And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Crowray, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the peephole in the storeroom door. So the fact that its existence forms the basis of your testimony is completely inexplicable.
And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Trogray did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the peephole in the door.
How on earth is that possible? Could I have a word, please, Lord Van Zieks?
Speak, Inspector.
It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now, to put in my report. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so if it's all the same to you...
Permission denied.
Oh,
It's not all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes.
of course, sir.
Mr. Crowray, you shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by somebody else.
Ugh! Stop there, my learned friend. You realize, I trust, that the words you have just uttered have extremely serious implications.
Yes. But the defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Crowray claims to have seen must have been revealed by a certain person before his testimony. And in that fact, considering the peculiar clue we have, there really is only one person that could be.
Who is the person
Oh, who is the person in question, Counsel? Who gave this witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony?
Okay, guys, can you think of someone?
I think Gregson, because he's trying to...
He's acting sus.
Okay, and remember, well, actually, you think Gregson? There we go.
Because the brothers don't know the people.
The truth is, it could only have been you, Inspector Gregson.
Me?
You had better some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend.
Consider the fact that we only have been aware of Mr. Rupert Crogray's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of the trial today.
Indeed. Preparations for his testimony were made with great urgency during our long recess. While the police executed the subpoena and brought the man here from the communication station.
And until that time, Mr. Crowray would have had no idea, no inkling that he would be suddenly required to appear in court.
Are you suggesting that until such time as he was summoned?
Yes, my lord, until then, it's reasonable to assume that he knew nothing of the peephole. It was only once Mr. Crowray was in the stand that he realized his position. That he would have to defend himself against the accusation that he was the third intruder.
You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received this information? So that he could commit perjury in order to save his skin?
Exactly. And the only person with knowledge of the investigation that he had any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson.
This is a blooming outrage. Why would I be giving away details of our investigation to this fella?
Oh, now I remember they were talking to each other.
Yep, they were whispering to each other earlier in court.
I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during the recess in any case. Have you forgotten that? Quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery.
Which means the first time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed following the recess. Since then, they've been in full view in the stand, where such illicit discussions couldn't possibly have occurred.
Yeah. Well,
Just remembered something, Ryu.
what is it, Iris?
Was one time before, wasn't there? I think it was when Shinobi was testifying.
Oh yes. Now that you mention it. When the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve McGondle's music box from the scene of the crime. That's it! Was learning the testimony. I remember finding it strange at the time. Mr. Krogray and the inspector seemed to be having some kind of secret discussion. It would have been possible for you to give Mr. Krogray the information he needed then.
You little toe rag. You're making all this up. I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that? Why would I be giving away confidential details to the likes of this bloke?
Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for a game. But perhaps it was part of a deal of some kind. Then it starts to make more sense.
What deal, Counsel?
I wonder, perhaps in exchange for details about the peephole, the crime scene, Mr. Krogray agreed to give a certain something to the inspector.
I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that if found to be true, striking a deal of any kind with a witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance. Well,
It's becoming clear that jumping in with accusation is this Nipponese student's specialty.
I don't do that.
But with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence in support of this diabolical claim.
Evidence?
Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal.
If the Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Krogray, then logically there's only one thing that he could have asked for. And it must be that, it must be it.
the disc.
Mm-hmm.
Ryu, do you think it could be?
Yes. It is the missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle.
I must press you for an answer now, Counsel. What evidence explains the nature of the alleged deal that Inspector Gregson made with the witness?
The music box, right?
I'd say the disc.
Yeah, well, we
Oh
already
yeah, the
presented.
music box.
Inspector Gregson. Besides this murder,
Would it be the second disc?
murder, it's not. Is it not true that you've been working on another very important case?
What are you getting at now, Sunshine?
Is it possible that that this other top secret case is what alluded to this newspaper article here? The classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice?
How the bleeding Nora could you...
We discovered during the course of this trial the music box deposited at Windenbanks by Mr. Consley McGondel. A special music box distinguished to play 2 discs at once, with these very likely now had encoded the pair of discs that were in McGondel's possession. Are the leaked classified secrets. So I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover the second disc containing the secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Crowgray, in which you exchanged the disc for the details of the case.
You little... Ah! Order.
On the day of the incident, when we met you at Winterbanks, you said this.
I'll be taking that wherever it is of McGondel's down to the yard. Thank you very much. So hand it over.
Ryan has been playing Dina for a bit.
No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is mine.
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to McGondel has to be taken in as evidence now.
Scotland Yard's already knew at the time, isn't that right? Constantly McGondel was involved in the stealing of the government secrets.
I would swear. Recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry. And do it on the QT. Strictly a shush.
And that explains why, when I presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. Because you knew that it contained highly confidential information.
Blimey, not likely. I mean, I wasn't that sure of it myself. I realized there was a possibility, that's all. Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music box discs, you did indeed reveal confidential details of the crime scene to the witness. To aid and abet this man in giving false testimony.
There's no other way that Mr. Crowgray could have known about the existence of the peephole. It's the only explanation, a deal that was struck between these 2 men.
No!
If, and I stress if, this sobering assertion turns out to be founded in truth, it would mean that the second disc is, as we speak, here in this very courtroom.
Wait, what? In this courtroom? How could you possibly make that a claim like that?
Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective.
What?
What's that supposed to mean, eh?
As a seasoned policeman, the inspector will have approached this alleged deal with caution. Certainly he would not have accepted a gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand.
Good gracious, then you mean to say. Inspector Gregson already has the item in question in his possession. He has the second disc actually in his person.
Defense demands that the inspector is searched at once.
Seriously? That came from?
Definitely.
Definitely, okay. They could only have struck a deal with each other when Jimmy was testifying before. And Toby hasn't moved from the witness since.
My lord, please. Order an examination of his personal effects immediately.
Well, Inspector. Nom. This young lad wants to tone down his imagination. He's insulted me and my profession quite enough.
Huh.
However, if he'll put this matter to bed and dispel any doubts about my involvement, and I'll happily submit to a body search.
What? He's going to agree to it?
I presume you're aware of the precipice on which you now teeter, my learned student friend. You've made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard here. If, following the search of the inspector personal effects, no disc is found, you will be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end, and my country's government will formally demand of yours that you are severely reprimanded.
That sounds serious.
Indeed. A visiting student makes such defamatory remarks about our country's most senior police force. It's not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook.
Just waiting though.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
You're just treating you because you're scared.
The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences.
Is it true? It's true. I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted the gentleman's agreement for something so crucial. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means the inspector should have it. Somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here.
Very well, Counsel. You know the implications, so let me ask you one final time.
Yes, my lord.
Do you still persist in formally requesting a search of the inspector's personal effects? Search someone else.
Yes, the defense formally demands the search to be conducted.
Well,
Don't say you weren't warned, but your typical Nipponese stubbornness may well land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good.
fair enough. I got nothing to hide.
You didn't pass it to Nemi.
Oh, he did manhandle her Nemi a lot.
Very well done.
Just a question, how long are we going to continue this actually?
I don't know, it's up to you, because you always...
Yeah, I usually end it somewhere, but I mean, we're in the thick of everything.
Yeah, that is true. Do you want to end it right before we say who to search? Or after? Right after?
Or you just choose it and then save it there and then see.
I say end and save it here and then give backstory on why we're searching the person
Oh, okay.
to...
Okay, let's at least go to this before and oh yeah, there. The weak clap. The defense demands the search, but not of Inspector Gregson.
What?
Now, what's all this? I'm the one you're accusing, aren't I? I thought you wanted to search me.
No, Inspector, not you. Somebody else.
What's the meaning of all this, huh? Lost it at last, have you, Sunshine? The guard shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You're being completely irrational.
This is, I think, Iris.
Quiet, how are you? Yes, it wasn't. We're doing what you all told him to do, adhering the cards on his convictions. So you should respect that and listen to what he has to say in good faith. Cause that's pretty sweet.
Well said, young lady. Indeed, this court is in awe of the defense counsel's conviction and eagerly awaits his next words. You what? Now don't be hasty, my lord.
If I'm not mistaken about things I've seen in this court today, I'm fairly sure that I know who has the disc at the moment. There's only one person it could be.
Counsel, of whom do you request the search now?
And we'll find out next time!
Next time.
Well, that's certainly, well, it should... it's almost at the end, but I mean, just barely at the end.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily think that we would go so far, actually. I thought we had way more to go. But oh well, time flies, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I'm confident to say that next week will be the conclusion of the first Ace Attorney game.
Hey.
Wow.
We might even have the slight start of the second one, maybe. I don't know, actually. Probably.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that as well. Well, thank you guys for yet again another great Ace Attorney, great collab.
Thank you for having us.
As always.
Of course.
And thanks everyone for joining. I hope everyone who joined in the couple of raid, the raid I got, there are lots of people that joined. Thank you everyone. I hope you enjoyed this little session of the Greatest Attorney. Next week the conclusion of the first one, most definitely. We're going to finish that, and then maybe the start of the second. I don't know what we're going to do with that. As for now, thank you everyone. I'll shut you out right here. Here are the usual members of the Great Ace Attorney collab. Cthulhu, Cthulhu is currently not here today. Usually, he does play the role of Bunzigs and Iris and such, but well. Then we have Cthulhu Forever. We have Raphael Chronobelt of Mountain VTubers, and we have Ox Ryan, who tomorrow has FAMU Viewed and does some like events every now and again. Mostly followed by you can mostly follow him on Twitter these days. Okay, let me see if I can find someone to raid. Oh, and also, for those who are interested, I also have a Discord together with Natesy. You can join it here. I need to keep reminding myself to actually promote my Discord a little bit. But you can join us there for all the heads up streams and all the just chatting about and such. As for who we're gonna raid, I don't know how long she's going to stay online for. I rarely get the opportunity to raid her. Let's raid the lovely Media. I know she is... well, she's lovely, so... I really hope you guys enjoyed everything. And I'll see everyone next time. Any last words from you guys?
Nothing here.
Bye.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye Everyone. Give Media a lot of love. Here are the rate messages that I almost forgot to put out. Raid. So if you have a subscription, you can do the hap emote, and if you don't, you can just give her a lot of love with our rate message. Thank you everyone, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.